What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I will show you how I record my guitar covers. Now this is a question I get asked a lot in the comment section, so I figured now it was the right time to give you all a closer look on how these covers are made. Let me first say that I am by no means an expert on home recording or that my methods are the best way to do these things. However, they work for me and I hope that you all get some kind of insight from this video and perhaps even help you get started in making your own guitar covers. I will go over the audio side of things today only. Maybe I will make a part 2 where I focus more about the video side, since that is a whole different animal. So be sure to let me know in the comment section if that is something that you would like to see, and perhaps I will make a future video talking about that topic. Now the 4 things that you need in order to start recording are a guitar, an amplifier or an amp sim such as Guitar Rig, an interface like an Apogee Duet, a Scarlett, etc. And finally your DAW of choice, whether it's GarageBand or Logic. The way I record my guitars is using one of my tube amps and go through my 2-Notes Torpedo Live and use virtual guitar cabinets or impulse responses in order to get the best real tone while recording silently at home. I have talked about this topic in the past on my Sir Reactive Load video, which you can check out for more info on that subject. The first thing that I do in my workflow is pick a song that I want to cover, which usually comes in 2 different ways. A song that I already know or I particularly want to learn and record, or as a request from one of you lovely people. Knowing the song beforehand helps timing and getting it done quicker, but at the end of the day, the whole process is basically the same. Once I have a song picked, I download the track via iTunes and listen to it a few times with my headphones to sort of get in the groove of the whole structure of the song. The key here is to basically get a good idea and feel of the tone of the guitar and just the whole song structure. After that, I go into probably my favorite part, which is research. And basically, I like to go online and search for images or any info I can find about that band, specifically when that album was recorded, meaning you look for images or live concerts and see what kind of gear the guitar player was using at the time. The majority of the times is going to be either a Les Paul through a Marshall or a Mesa Boogie, but what this does is gives me the chance to try to be as accurate as I can with the gear that I choose to record with. Now I am fortunate to own a lot of different guitars and amps, but this could easily be replicated with just a simple amp sim, so bear that in mind. After the research and an idea of what amp and guitar combination that I want to use, I get to the real listening part. I open a project in Logic and throw in the track that I downloaded and start listening to it, but this time more in depth than the first time. And the goal here is to try and pick out all of the little guitar parts that are hidden throughout the whole recorded mix. The way that I do this is by listening to the left side of the track. So I pan the audio left and pay really close attention to whatever the lead or rhythm guitar is playing on that side of the track. Then I pan to the right and basically do the same. I also get asked a lot if I use or have tabs of the songs that I cover. And I always tell people the same thing: use your ear. I'm not trying to be a dick about this, but seriously, the best way to learn to play these songs requires you to train your ear and stop relying so much on tabs. I know it might sound easier said than done, but I actually made a video sharing some tips on how you can do that, which you can find somewhere here. Now, I take a lot of pride in making these covers, and so I do my best to replicate the tone and play them as accurate and as well as I can. So all of these steps are really important for me and in my whole workflow. Plus, it's so rewarding to hear those subtle lead guitar parts that are otherwise you wouldn't have paid attention to while listening to the full mix. So when you pan them left and right, you really get to pick out all those little parts that you normally don't hear. Once I do that, I get my amp EQ'd, I choose the cabinet impulse response that I want to use and start to learn the song. And just like I mentioned earlier, I start with whatever side of the track the rhythm guitar is in. It could be the left or right, and I learn that part and then I record it. And after that, I move on to the lead part and basically do the same thing. I always double track both rhythm and lead guitars. Some people like to record more than 2 tracks, but for the purpose of these covers, I really don't need to quadruple record my guitars. 2 is more than enough, and the same goes for any of the solos and big lead parts, just 2 separate tracks for each. And what this does is gives your guitar more depth and makes it stand out from the original guitars. I also like to lower the output of the track to around -10 to -12 so that my recorded guitars are heard but not overpower the track. I've seen some YouTube videos out there where the track volume is either too high and you can't hear whatever the person is playing, or their guitar is way too loud and it just sounds kind of messy. So adjust your volume to a good and comfortable mix. As far as added EQs, I like to leave everything as dry as possible, meaning no curves, etc. If the song requires an effect such as a reverb, flanger, delay, I add it through Logic and play around with the settings until I get a sound that closely resembles the original guitar effects in the track. I also like to add a noise gate and a light compressor to the mix just to clean things up a bit, but that's about it really. I don't use anything more than that. Once I am comfortable with the volume levels and overall recording, I simply export it to an MP3 format in Logic and basically get ready to do the video playthrough, and that's basically it. That's simple. Again, there might be extra steps and things to consider or do differently, but this is my own method and so far it has been working fine for me. The key thing here is to EQ your amp correctly, learn and play the songs as accurately as possible, and work on your audio levels so that everything sits right in the mix. Again, you don't need super expensive gear to make these videos. I have seen some great looking and sounding covers out there done with much less. I think I've covered pretty much everything that I do. If there is anything else you think I left out, be sure to comment down below and I'll try to answer it as best as I can. Maybe we can even do a live Q&A session in the future for those who might be interested. So I don't know, we'll see. Stay tuned for that. All right guys, this is it for the video. I really hope this was helpful to you. Remember to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell to stay notified on future videos. Hit me up on Instagram, and I will see you guys on the next video. Cheers.